we have been seeing it slowly come back into the scene as Keen Gaming. They go into a disruptor pickup now. Which is pretty interesting.
It's playing into team fight. Like, it's a Static Storm, Overgrowth, Nova, Poison Nova. It's all really strong. I don't think you want to tie yourself to all those cooldowns, though. Like, it could be a major issue for Keen if they don't play around their team fights well. We see that sometimes when you pick, like, the Tree and Phoenix, or the Mars Phoenix if you're not getting those team fights on. This time, especially with a Venomancer, that power peak really falls off fast. You have to maximize that moment when your supports and your Venom have their ults. It's strong when it gets off. Like, this is always going to be great. Like, the Ursa's not going to have a great game if you just land at Static Storm, the Kinetic Field on. You do have great ways of kiting that Ursa around. You don't have the best supports to clear out Serpent Hordes, and you don't really have the best wave clear. So now with a Beastmaster pickup from EHOME, you're going to be hard-pressed to really stop this insane push EHOME has. Shadow Shaman, Beastmaster Jack. It reminds me of what LGD did, right? They had the Lycan Beastmaster themselves, and you couldn't stop that push.
Speaking of the Lycan, John, it's still available, by the way. Not that it necessarily fits into the lineup, but then again, it kind of does. You won't have the most amazing teamfight potential on EHOME, but you've got great single-target pickoff. You do have AoE control in the Jakiro's Ice Path, so that Lycan could very well come up for EHOME, assuming it's not picked up or banned by Keen Gaming.
Yeah.
Keen should be very, very cluey about that, because again, they did verse that. Well, we saw that from LGD yesterday, and it was devastating. So, while they have a tree that can sort of delay pushes, it's definitely not going to work up against this many units, and they actually go for a PL pickup. Fair enough, it's not too bad, because again, you do have really a lot of solo pick-off potential, but not much in the way of that illusion clear that you're going to need up against this PL. But if you're EHOME with this kind of huge push lineup, you're not going to give time anyway to Keen Game to really have this PL up.
No, you really won't. Like, even if they for the Lycan now, like, sure, Lycan against PL is not amazing, especially if you let the game drag on to minute 30 plus. Lycan just can't do anything against the illusion spam. In fact, none of the heroes can, as you mentioned. But with this kind of lineup, like, there is no late game. If they get the objectives very early on. If EHOME doesn't ban that Lycan, it's going to be a very good option for EHOME, like if Keen doesn't ban it out. So they could still go with... It would be a bit funky. I'd say in that case, you probably want the Ursa off the Beastmaster mid, just because that can hold its own in a short lane easier. The Ursa will need some backup in most 1v1 matchups, so you're going to want that done. Keen closing out with a Kunkka does kind of stitch this draft nicely, right? Great, amazing team fight potential. You've got the X for easy setup. You've got the Overgrowth, the Nova, the Static Storm, the Boat to sustain you. It's all amazing if it all lands. It's just so many timers for early on. Buy time for PL, and EHOME actually goes for the Naga. So even if you get that amazing initiation, EHOME can just pop the song and walk away.
You know, I don't mind this from EHOME as well. Like, I thought, why not just go the Lycan if you're going to pick up Naga Siren? But it does offer a lot more teamfight potential as well for EHOME. You've got the song there, so you can engage and disengage very easily if it's gone bad. And not to mention, the Lycan would have suffered a bit up against that Kunkka. And the Disruptor for that. You've got two ways to pull back into a teamfight. Not to mention the Overgrowth is there for fantasy. Just way too many ways to hold them down, but you haven't got that problem with the Naga. The Naga just pops song, and suddenly it's like, well, we can't do anything. We're songed up.
Yeah.
Overall, both drafts look pretty nice. I have to lead towards EHOME, though.
Definitely. Even if the teamfight potential for Keen is amazing, EHOME has a really easy way of running away. Naga Siren Song, as we both mentioned, you have to be kind of mindful as well of the solo pick-off potential here. It's not too hard to catch the PL out early game, right? Like, if he's farming a lane, you just kind of walk up, you get the roar off from the shadows if you're smoked up, or once you have an early blink on either the Shadow Shaman Beast, you're not going to have the illusion spam to really be protected just yet for Erica. So that's something Keen has to be completely aware of. And if EHOME wants to play aggressively in a big team fight, they still have the song set up for the Jakiro, so they can land a massive macro pyre and melt out Keen Gaming that way. It's a lot that Keen has to be aware of. Their draft is potent. It's just so much hard to pull off that it's a safer bet to look at EHOME and think that this draft is easier to execute.
Should be, but we can't rule anything out quite yet. Keen Gaming, they definitely do have quite a lot of potential to take this game number 1 off EHOME. You know, the one thing that I never get about teams versus EHOME is why they don't ban out the Beastmaster.
Yeah.
Every time Faith Beyond has a chance to take Beastmaster, he does, and they always leave his hero to 4th or 5th pick. But we never see teams actually getting rid of it. I think the last time we saw someone ban the Beastmaster up against Faith Beyond, it was actually LGD that did that.
Yeah.
They paid respect to this man and did not allow him to have the hero that he just loves performing on. And he just makes it hellish to play against. Like, even if you win out the lane and you have a tough time early, he always has influence because he has raw. And he just makes something work every time. Not to mention the Hawks, John. The Hawks never get bad. They're always great for scouting. And I'm just saying, if I was versing EHOME, I would immediately ban this hero.
Yeah, it really... It's one of the favorite picks of EHOME, as you mentioned. Just such a great year for Fate, and it is giving them a lot in this team right now, especially with this lineup. I think something that Keen can be happy about, though, is that they got the early D ward on this deep ward that was planted from EHOME, so you're not going to have that control, that easy way of just having vision here and pulling safely. That's something that is taken away, so props to YDS for spotting that out. I believe the smoke expired under the ward, so they did see that rotation out to the warding spot.
Play a very nice start. Those early wards have been very important, especially in the Chinese scene in particular. We've been seeing that a lot. Multiple teams just prioritizing trying to get the first observer ward out to protect their mid lane. And mid lane does really dictate a lot of what happens in these games in this current meta. So, not that it didn't before, but it really means a lot now to have your mid lane doing well, especially considering the XP and goldenness on the map. We don't want to have them having a bad impact picking on Faith Beyond, already taking so much damage, and this is really to be expected, right? When you have Disruptor, your lane, you're going to throw all your mana out pretty much immediately.
Yeah, it takes a while for your Shadow Shaman to really keep up in terms of harassment. In fact, oh god.
Remember, it does go down very early on. First, go to YDS. Just a little bit overly confident, perhaps assuming Erica would not land, but he did. And of course, YDS followed up with the Thunderstrike. Yeah,
it's huge punishment coming out from Keen. Xingqiu just doesn't have laning presence. Like, he casts the Ether Shock, a couple right clicks off because of his range. It's just not an easy time to get that trade.
Just really standing right next to the PL trying to man fight. You have high base damage on the Shaman, but you got to be a bit careful about it. So Erica luckily didn't have mana, so they couldn't really secure the kill on the Shaman. We'll have a look at the other lanes though. Zhao Fu in the mid lane, playing the Veno, does of course go for the Gale Poison Sting build, and that is, you know, needless to say, super effective up against a hero like Ursa. In fact, nothing to say, he's already trying to rotate up top, where he will actually run into Fantasy. This could be a very easy pickoff for nothing to say, but Fantasy does put the fines down. Still nothing to say. Needs basically one more hit. That makes another. Tried to go for the deny, but the Liquid Fire, or Jewel Breath, in fact it was, slowed his attack speed down enough to really not allow him to get that denial from himself.
Yeah, it's a early rotation from Siler. He was actually sitting mid initially, and I think he's just trying to clear out as much of the jungle as he can early on. One of the advantages that the Nog does offer, of course, and Siler's having a fine time. Like, if it was nothing to say, it would be bad, but Naga's Siren can hold her own. Sure, she cops the Gale, but it's nothing to be too upset, and it looks like they do rotate Blood down mid again to kind of counteract that.
That's fair enough, right? Like, you can't have the Veno up against Naga. It's going to be no contest for Siler, who is actually TPing once again. He has one of the Conquer, who can get the versions very, very easy with Tidebringer and Torrent. So they switch it. I think King Gaming will easily be able to switch this again, though, because Jiangfu hasn't even TP. He's just kind of sitting in the tree line waiting to see what's happening. Jiangfu should go back down to the mid lane and probably TP back up top. always barely have vision of nothing to say. He was currently just waiting on the high ground. And nothing to say is also waiting, because again, he can't lane up against the Venom very effectively. But both of them on top. Blood say nothing to say. What are you doing here? You should be here. Blood actually gonna get ganked up now. Barely land on the Ursa. Nice body blocks coming out from one. Blood doesn't actually get out of it. And then now we end up with Ursa versus Corker lane again, but Silas joined in on the Naga.
Yeah, that's just the musical chairs for both sides. This is hurting EHOME just a bit more. They did have the vision advantage in spotting out Blood waiting around. They have a nice deep ward, but they have wasted a lot of time. Sylar is missing out on a fair bit of farm, although to be fair, he is still top in terms of the last hits, and you see another TP out.
Yeah, Blood in trouble, but not say it even lower in Shaofu, coming in with a double damage to really secure the kill, and not say why, barely getting out of there on the Jakiro. And meanwhile, he's looked at that hit, and Sana is back. And
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
he may have tried to apply a bit of lane pressure while nobody was around, but the opposite to go back and farm him. Meanwhile, they did end up finding high fantasy, even giving it over one. That fantasy so far having a pretty decent game on the tree, and they make the score 3-1, so Keen's looking pretty darn decent.
Yeah, they're definitely finding that early pressure. With this lineup, they're finding the better lanes. EHOME has been forced into this musical chair situation, although you do finally see Blood TP down mid onto Kunkka where nothing to say is. So it does look like the Ursa Kunkka lane will be together for a while, but no, Shaofu walks out. Okay, all right.
He's walking, John. You gotta keep an eye on that river. There's always somebody walking back down. Nothing to say. Will he actually stick around this time? I think he probably will. Like, he's sitting at level 3 at 5.5 minutes. He just hits 4. He hasn't got his PP off cooldown. That's enough in terms of rotate. Erica bot lane gonna be in huge trouble. Faith Beyond trying to chase, but a great kinetic field holding back Q and Faith, so they can't finish off the kill. But we are slowly starting to see that bot lane go the way of this Beastmaster, which that's fairly normal. Once you have level 2 boars, it becomes almost impossible to lane as a PO up against Beastmaster. And God forbid we get to those level 3 boars, then it's really just impossible.
Yeah, it's not a good time. At the same time, because of that early start, Erica is still leading in terms of last hits. So our PL is still finding that farm. I don't think Faith Beyond has completely shut down the PL. Erica is still pretty much free there. No real rotations coming in because of the situations on mid and top. So that just means it's going to be fairly all right for Erica. Like, Faith Beyond is finding fall for sure, but your PL is his fall.
No, Faith needs TP. I don't think he has enough time. Well, he does. Just barely getting away with its life intact and go back to the fountain. You'll have to make the walk of shame back. By the way, John, I said the Ursa want to move again. He does. Nothing to say. He rotates back up to the top lane. Though he is struggling now because Blood is chasing him down with Fantasy. Gale also connects from Zhao, who showed up on the Venomancer. And nothing to say, we'll die again. They've actually relegated Sylar to the jungle for a bit, and Sylar's now running down towards the bot lane. But never mind, he's back to the jungle. Sin Q was the one on the Shaman who's taking the mid lane now.
It's a strange situation for EHOME. Like, they are lagging behind in terms of the aggression, and well, you don't really want the Shaman to be soaking mid too long. The Dutos, nothing to say back there, but the Ursa is really starting to cop it. Level 4, even Blood's at level 6, so you're not going to be seeing that very fast start for nothing to say. And it just means EHOME overall will have to watch out for Keen Gaming's teamfight potential. They're going to be approaching level 6 fairly soon. The potency of this lineup all the way up once those ults are running.
It's a funny thing as well with these lane switches. We saw this the other day where King Gaming is one of those teams that will not stop switching lanes until they are happy. Right? Like, every other team, by the 3-4 minute mark, they'll just stop. They'll just be like, that's enough. We'll just put up with whatever lane we get. King Gaming refuses. They will switch over and over and over again at the cost of their supports and the cost of their cause, just to ensure they get the perfect matchup. And this time it seems to have worked for them. There's nothing to say. Got a couple photo mid lane. Why is there to help? It doesn't connect with the Ice Path, and now YDS and Xiaofu show up. They may even dive the T1. Field won't lock in Y, but the glimpse will be there in time, and Y, he'll go for the TB play. They do have enough damage in time, and with all those kills, they can start pressuring the mid T1 tower.
Yeah, it's going to be a big tower to take away from EHOME, opening up the map for potential rotations into the jungle, and EHOME is relying on that. Like, Sylar was hanging out there, nothing to say, will definitely just stick in his jungle to farm up, and Keen already has really good control, not only with a tier 1, but in terms of the wards they dropped as well. So it's not going to be safe to find that farm.
Yeah, it's not great news, but I can say he has to rotate back a bit, but now the circle what's being dropped onto Xiaofu. They just want to secure a kill. Blood will come back at the X. He was just trying to get his bottle up and reset at the fountain. That'll be the first wards drop of the game, just to ensure they get a bit of collateral for all the damage that's been done by King Gaming. But you still run into this huge problem where nothing to say just doesn't have a lane to farm in. And, I mean, he can try up against Blood, but he's going to be one full level behind. Oh, bot lane. Why gets caught out again by YDS on the disrupt?
Yeah, it's really down to how well Keen is playing this early power spike. This is exactly what their lineup needs to do. Fake Beyond now up top. Ooh.
Overgrowth's going to be there. Faith is in huge trouble with Xiaofu. He's been oh, what a nice deny. He actually used the unit to get the deny off with the poison sting on top of him in the gale.
Oh man. that was a really big ult to throw out. Like, yeah, he committed roar as well, but you really want that kill in Faith Beyond, and the deny is nice. That wastes time from Keen. That does mean you're not going to have to worry about at least the overgrowth, although this probably won't stop the push. Xiaofu is still up and set with level 3 wards to really shove in this top tier 1.
I'll have to say, he was trying so desperately to beat Blood up to the top power rune, and then YDS just won't leave them alone. Level 5 on the Disruptor, just glimpsing back, nothing to say constantly. And well, he's just going back to the jungle. He understands he's far behind. He's got 2.8k net worth right now. This is really the only thing he can do. This is not the time where you could expect Faith Beyond to make those rotations with that level 6 Raw, but he had to commit it up a top lane. Bouncing Q up at that top lane does also go down Fantasy on the Tree and Protector, and they're going to find another T1 tower. This is really going to open up the map for the side of King Gaming.
Yeah, just no way to defend so far from EHOME. They aren't wanting to commit for these big fights by the tower, and they're certainly not set up to. So Keen is starting to dig in, take control on the map. This does allow them to dip further into this dire top jungle, although EHOME hasn't really been spending time there. It's really been more about this bot jungle, which they do have a nice deep ward in. I don't think they feel too compelled to actually hunt down just yet. I mean, they're so far ahead. They probably should just focus on these objectives.
Well, smoke will come out. We are going to finally see an aggressive roar from Faith, as it does just come off cooldown. Of course, Serpent Ward's also up by Sync-Q's. They definitely just want to use both of those immediately and just secure a kill. They do throw a scan up, but that's an illusion of the Conquer. Luckily, they avoid that. They do just put out Blood on the low ground, but he's not going to be a very easy kill. He's level 9 with Boat available. The exact opposite way. This smoke from EHOME probably not going to lead to anything.
No.
They're going to try to rotate down bot with find Erica. They lose their T1 mid tower in the process. Trying to delay things, but Erica realizes something is wrong. He'll start running towards the tree line, and he does call for some help. Does have a TP rotation, and a glimpse. Who's that on? They call Faith Beyond. He'll commit the roar straight on the Punka. The X is still there on Faith. He's in big trouble. Serpent Wards are going to come out. The song from the start won't allow the wards to hit. Never can. YDS will go down. Erica is still there. We'll go on to Sync-Q now. Sync-Q, can he TP? Oh, he can. He will get out. No, he'll die at the fountain to the gable of the Venomance. But they do avoid losing their Beastmaster at the end. It's going to be 1-1 trade support. Mind you, EHOME were the ones smoking in to try and find a gank attempt. They commit Raw and Serpent Wards for that, and it looks like they're going to lose a bottom tier 1 tower now.
Yeah, there's just not going to be any defense. Like, even if you have Y-Round, he tried to save the tier 1 mid a while ago, but Mac, it doesn't make a difference. So you just toss that Jack in here to the cleared wave. Not going to stop the push, and Keen is slowly up there. I mean, look, he shows up, drops a Mac, and probably will just die.
Yeah, he has to though, right? Like, you have to delay this push as best as possible. Does clear the wave, but it's not going to be enough. The macro wears off, a new wave's here, and they're just going to claim it. So ultimately, it may not have been worth really dying for, and 3k worth of a net worth hit over King Gaming.
Radiant's middle tower.
Of course, EHOME can still come back and put their trust in Sala on the Narc Siren, which is up. Oh, and now it looks like I found Fantasy as well. So this could be a nice little decent bit of gold here for nothing to say. And it will be. He does pick up the kill. And it seems like the next maybe 10 minutes or so is really going to spell the name of the for the side of EHOME. Like, if they can find some decent smokes with that Roar and get a few pick-up, maybe a few tier 1 towers, they can easily push this game back. But if they don't, and Eric is allowed to keep farming on this PL, we're going to have some serious problems.
Oh, they definitely will. I think the key thing for EHOME right now is to just maintain control in their jungle. They probably shouldn't play aggressive. They really shouldn't. Mainly because they lack burst. So you're not going to be eating through a lot of blue series. You saw how long it took for Nothing to Say to actually kill off a support Treant alone. Yeah, so you don't quite have the damage to really go up in here to face any of these heroes. Just pull back, farm up. Faith Beyond's getting to the point where he doesn't need as much farm. Like, he's just lining up for his book tree, and once that's done, he should be fine.
Both fly out. He got the Roar off, the glimpse back, and the X just in time. Faith is going to lose his life again. Team Gaming are playing this so well. They're really doing such a fantastic job. Like, we question the Venomancer pick as well from Team Gaming. This is the best performance from Zhao Fu's Venom we've seen so far over the last couple of days, I've got to say.
Yeah.
He really has taken advantage of that power spike extremely well in the Venom.
Yeah, they've managed to play that aggressive early game. They haven't been catching the biggest team fights, but they've found the most pivotal solo pickoffs, and that's really going to be enough. Sin Q now in a spot of trouble as well.
Yeah, glimpse. He does get a Hex off with Serpent Wards onto Zhao Fu, but he's not really microing those wards very well right now. He will get a Shackles off, but Torrent is barely going to connect. Why? He'll drop the Macro Pyre, but there's the Overgrowth. That should be enough to kill off Cube, but now they'll lose Fantasy, or perhaps they won't. He's still trying to run. He does eventually go down, and nothing to say. Looking to clean this tick fight up. A great Ice Path from Y, but he does die in the end. Zhao Fu meanwhile a great block with those Serpent Wards, but he is still alone. It's a 4-for-2 trade, and Zhao Fu should eventually die. No, Eric is still here. Zhao Fu does die in the end, but nothing the same. Can't really finish off the final kill, as Erica is a little too threatening. But that was a 3-for-4 trade, and they do protect that tier 2 mid tower. That's actually a decent win for EHOME.
Really is. They are still very much in this game. The execution from Keen so far, like, that was an opportunity to get all their combos off. They did manage to get the Static Storm off from YDS. He was holding on to it before he died, so they didn't have that available for the fight. EHOME now has some tools to play with. Like, considering that they're 14-8, it's only a 2k advantage for Keen at 17 bits in. Not the biggest gap. We have seen a lot of teams actually turn that around, so Keen has to be careful about giving openings to EHOME, because they will, widen that opening and come back in.
Bot lane, there is going to be a boat being thrown out on Sylar. He did have the song, but he will TP in time. You just spoke about openings as well. You look at the Roshan pitch on Nothing to Say is going for that Roshan on the Ursa. In Key Gaming, they should really have expected this to happen. They haven't got any wards around the Roshan pit at all. It's all from EHOME, and that's a big opening to give away. It's a lot of gold, and now Nothing to Say. He might feel confident enough, especially once that bash is available, to start making plays with his team.
Yeah, it's going to help out massively for the Ursa to get his own lockdown. That's going to boost his potential by quite a fair bit. You would still like to see maybe a mobility item for Nothing to Say. It's going to be hard always reach into the back line. You will want to find someone like Fantasy now. It's going to really mess up your day when the overgrowth lands along with a Meteor Hammer. So a nice early pickup from Fantasy can really set the pace and also allows this Korean to get some nice wave clear and push by himself, which it looks like Fantasy is set to do right now.
He's been doing it for about, I don't know, 20-30 seconds already, and we'll see now as he does have the help of Erica up that top lane, just in case things go a little bit bad. They're gonna start applying that pressure. EHOME still may not be ready to fight back. They do glyph up that tier 2. Meteor has been dropped. They'll do a bit more damage. The EHOME looks like the best they could really do here is try and go for a trade. So they're gonna start setting up for that bottom tier 2 tower. You have about those Necro 3 units. They will be up in 20 seconds of Faith. And in fact, Heat Gaming are unwilling to let it go down, but a nice macro will ensure that they can't get Fantasy close enough to get a nice start off. And now Ice Pop barely missing, but they get the Shackles off. Now Overgrowth to cancel that off. Still Shackles are still going. Now the Raw as well, Jiaofu, but there's so many rotations. They'll lose Q, they'll lose White. The glimpse on Faith, but he comes nothing to say. He does find one in the form of a YDS, but it looks like he probably will die. Sala, he does Song, however, helping out the Ursa, letting both of them get out. But they don't find the tier 2 tower. They lose the 3-for-1 trade, and they lost their top tier 2 in the process.
Overall, still a nice little win for Keen. You are really seeing Fantasy come into play, and that Meteor Hammer holding back the two supports from getting any aid out really turned that one for them. And EHOME have to be a little bit more careful. They have to respect the power of the team fights here. They don't really have the tools. Sylar without Song, it's just a sitting target.
He is the Song in 80 seconds, but Poison Nova immediately to be expended by Jiaofu. It's just another great play for Team Gaming.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
You know, I kind of wonder as well for EHOME, like they would have been the clear favorites going into this, and they have been struggling quite a lot. You think it kind of goes back to that support Shaman pickup? Like, is that why they're falling so behind?
No, it's definitely not. It's not down to the Shaman. It's more of their musical chairs, right? Like Keen Gaming just got all the lane matches they could have wanted, and I can say it's just a non-factor in most of these fights.
Q does lose his life. Now the Expo going to be there on White. He does use his Shadow Amulet. Do they have protection? Not quite, but they know exactly where he's sitting right now, and they'll use the Tidebringer as well as Gale to slowly tick away at him. White will just have to sit there and accept his death.
Oh no.
On the bright side, I mean, you buy a bit of time, right? Like, you waste about 5-10 seconds. So there's that. Does give a bit of time across the map, but nothing to say to be able to push out that top tier 1 tower. And may end up losing his Aegis in the process. So he does get the tier 1. Doesn't raid, but he's completely out of map now. And on the bit, just try and juke this out. Wait for the Aegis to come up and go for a tier with the mana you get. In fact, never mind. Hey, he's rotated in with an Invis rune. They know he's there because of those Necro units. Who does he roll? Straight onto the Fantasy. But nothing to say. He's way too low. And Faith Beyond may have overextended to try and help its position 1, as they are going to lose another in the form of that Beastmaster and YDS. Great smoke. The Necro unit do not break smoke, and that means YDS doesn't get away. And I guess on the brighter side, EHOME did manage to find Jiaofu down at the bot bounty rune spot, but it's still not great if you're losing your Ursa and your Pos 3 Beastmaster.
Not the best of trades for EHOME. They will take what they can get, but you're still not too happy. And you did lose out on Nothing to Say's Courier as well. That had his Abyssal Blade recipe, even though he's not quite there with the Abyssal Blade just yet, but that is going to stall it out just for a bit more if he does find the gold within the next 2 minutes. So, nice set of pickoffs for Keen. EHOME now really have to get her. They're 5k behind. It's starting to get a bit significant here. You are seeing great build-up on Erica. He's saving up for his own Abyssal as well. So once that's up on our PL, he can just focus on whatever he wants. And you don't have the best of wave clear here to really spot out Erica. I mean, Erica hasn't died this entire game. You don't have solutions for the PL. This is just going to get worse as time goes on.
No, don't go back in. They have too many ways to call you back. He enraged, but again, both gonna fly out. He has no mana. Kinetic Field holds him in, and he is almost certainly dead. Erica will pick up his 4th kill of the game and be on a dominating spree. And I don't like to call things early, John, but once Erica's got that Abyssal completed, this game seems to be over. Like, you still have comeback potential from the Naga Siren, but Sylar's behind the farm of the PO, and the Blood's gonna find Sylar. In fact, Blood, that's a lot of damage right now. Why with the Ice Path as well? Blood actually goes down, and Serpent Wards are on YDS, so 2 pretty nice pickups here for EHOME. But I just get very concerned when I look at that PL's farm for the sake of EHOME. It just seems like Erica has gotten way too much off this map.
Yeah, Erica's had a free run. Again, 0 deaths so far. But EHOME's ace in the hole is really the fact that Sylar has kept up quite well on Naga Siren. So you've got the Naga Siren up against PL as this game drags on. You do start to see perhaps EHOME rely on the song to really set up for themselves a little down mid.
Very out of position, he does poison over, and now the overgrowth comes out. They're going to try and turn. Here comes Erica. He deals so much damage. They already lose the Shaman. Meanwhile, Fantasy playing it, but does eventually die. But they lost Faith beyond Kitten, and it looks like Y is also going to lose his own life. You found a position 5, excuse me, Dream Protector, but you lost 3 in the pro. Was that +3 beast after again? And you mentioned that at least the Naga Siren has kept up in farm, but with the Naga Siren, John, it's kind of like an alchemist where you want to be ahead in that world. It's not enough to keep up.
Yeah. It's not quite there for Sylar. So the only thing EHOME can do now, if they really want to stall the game out, I think they've got great high ground defense for the Jakiro and the Naga. They could maybe hold on to this tier 2 mid. It's a very risky prospect since Sylar's not around. Like, he's just going to be maximizing his farms.
Kinetic Storm straight on top of nothing to say. Jiafu, he has a Spirit Vessel, so they may kick him out. No, he'll be fine. He does go on for wide, he has. Now Erica, though, he'll join the fight again. Faith Beyond doesn't have enough mana to roar. It gets drained so quickly. He continues to just use his units onto Jiafu, but Fantasy is there to ensure. With that in mind, he does end up going down. Erica, meanwhile, just destroying the back lines, and Erica still wants one more. He knows why it's there. Ice Path, and now Sylar gonna rotate. Erica's in a dangerous spot. He's running low on, still feeling confident enough to dive the T4 towers. Y will go down, but now can you at least find the PL? He's completely out of mana, and the Naga Illusions are on top of Sylar. He's being jumped by Blood on that Kunkka and is forced to Song TP again. And so ultimately Erica just walks out of it scot-free.
Yeah, it's a really good X from Blood. He managed to spot the real Naga out despite being surrounded by mirror images, so that forcing the Naga back home did save Erica again. They lose their tier 2 mid as well for EHOME. So it's time for the high ground defense. As long as Song is up, as long as Macropyre is up from your Jakiro, it is going to be a hard time for Keen to push up. That's something EHOME can do quite well. The issue is
trying to go on Jiafu, but he's going to be surrounded. Goes for the Abyssal and winding. Yes, nice Abyssal there, but is it going to be enough? He does at least get the Disruptor, but again, it's going to be at the cost of his life. He tries for the Kunkka, now that would make it worthwhile, but just can't quite get there.
Yeah, it's not the best of trades. That is also the Abyssal reveal from Nothing to Say. So just wanted to get a nice fast kill, is punished hard, and Erica is getting really big. Like, the Abyssal's up on Erica as well, of course. It does still have room to grow. You take a look at EHOME, Sylar actually opts for the Butterfly on the Naga. So you're not seeing the tankiest Naga, but it should still be hard for the damage to fly in from Erica. Erica does not have anything to pierce through that mischance, so it should be a good time for the Naga, at least for now. I'm sure at some point they will kind of notice that and punish it. and they do manage to find a mid-tier one as well for EHOME. So they have kind of clawed their way back, at least in terms of maintaining control. They haven't had the biggest deficit as well. Like, Keen is still only 4k ahead, despite being 13 kills ahead at 28 minutes. It's been a consistent net worth gap. EHOME has been working out the split push and kind of split farm with Sylar quite well, all things considered.
The thing is, right, like, most of the net worth on King Gaming, and really the advantage they have, just seems to be on the PL, Erica. So if you do manage to find this kill on Erica, the rest of that net worth advantage is gone. Like, in fact, I believe EHOME would take the advantage if the PL's on the fight. So if they could really just find the PL kill somehow, that could make all the difference for EHOME. So I don't really think didn't have enough. So bot lane, there is a bit of a push going on. Meanwhile, Blood did get jumped to save, but they're going to try and chase it down now. With the Abyssal coming out from Eric, they'll have plenty of control for this Ursa, but he does enrage, trying to rush forward, trying to get that Conquer. Meanwhile, on the Radiant base of Fantasy has died. Erica does get nothing to say. The tier 3 towers are about to be under siege. Looks like the Shaman. They do commit Static Storm. CQ trying to TP, but he gets glimpsed back. He will also die. And EHOME, they're just going to play the split game, it seems. Just keep distracting, keep allowing slow sieges onto that high ground, and just don't really allow King Gaming to get close to your base.
Yeah, that's really the best they can hope for, and that's where their lineup kind of excels. They can't really hope to take a big team fight here. It's just way too much going on unless they get the perfect counter initiation of the song. But Sylar has been way too far for most major engagements so far. So split push is going to have to be it. Again, even if the high ground starts to get threatened from EHOME, they've still got the song and the macro power to play with. So it's going to be a bit harder for Keen. That is why they've kind of tempered their push. They're not being as aggressive as you'd expect. They don't want to give any leeway towards EHOME in terms of bouncing back in. So it's been a conservative time. You are seeing some item pickups as well, like Xiaofu does have the BKB on the Veno. So you do have that in case you are caught out, just to help yourself. That's not going to stop the Bacchus from nothing to say if he wants to focus you, but it does mean that you're going to have to choose who you do roar target, and you're not going to be facing any annoyances from Sinq's Shaman. And you are also seeing a build-up from YDS towards an Ags. Now, he's had that queued up for a long time, but the moment the Disruptor does have that Ag Static Storm, EHOME has no counterfight. Like, they get stuck in the Static Storm, there's just no counterplay.
What? Okay. Must use YDS. Can you get the glimpse? Oh. Barely spotted him for a millisecond, but it wasn't enough time. YDS, he had to take a back step, and Y will get himself out of there. Eric is actually queuing up an Eye of Skadi, which intrigues me a little bit. Usually we are very used to the PL go for a Heart of Taras at this stage of the game, unless there is a very particular task that they need the Eye of Skadi for. But as far as I can tell, like, you could make the argument maybe nothing to say, but the PL already counters the Earth Bomb. So I don't know if the Eye of Skadi is really necessary here. Perhaps maybe the Heart of Taras would be more value, but Erica seems pretty set of getting that Eye of Skadi. In fact, why? Mid lane, gonna find the Jakiro.
Yeah, they do finally catch him out, and that should allow them to maybe shove in the high ground if they wanted to. There is a buyback in the Jack, and EHOME is pressuring that bot lane. The Skadi build-up on Erica is, as you mentioned, strange. I would have preferred a Heart Swell. It does give him a lot more stats to play with, offensive stats, so not just more HP.
The tier 3 bot tower's gone down. Fantasy doesn't feel safe to run up and try to defend it. He will use Living Armor and the Repair Kit. Now Silence here. And that tier 3, the first one of the game is to go to the way of EHOME. They do use the Naga with Static Storm Torrent and both being thrown out. Sinq meanwhile does fight, it goes down there. Abyssal gonna be there on Silence. They do find the Naga Siren kill. But ultimately, if you're EHOME, you're not gonna be that unhappy about that death of the Naga. You just got a tier 3 tower when you're this far behind. And they are nowhere near going high ground for the side of Keen. In fact, nothing to say he's taking a rock shot now.
Yeah, it's the classic play you do with an Ursa. Of course, you can just sneak into Roche, not too hard. There are wards around, but I don't think they actually spotted it. Yeah, it's gonna be too late. Nothing to say doesn't manage to jump out though, so awkward spot for him. Jump out. There you go.
Yeah, he'll avoid the gank there from. And this classic EHOME, right? Like Faith gonna get jumped again mid lane, just trying to force the wave out. But it does seem very like EHOME where they just distract you. They make plays across the map and just never let you get to the high ground. And we are gonna finally see Erica try to make a high ground play, but the problem is he's not a creep wave. He'll try to jump the shaman, blink away. Creep wave is incoming. You have Tyler up in about 10 seconds, and you mentioned it before, but you've got this great D push in the form of that Jakiro, so Y could always just drop the macro. And that's exactly what's going to do. Oh, he's still going to be there with the Ice Path. This could be big. They have found blood on the Kunka. He's a tanky target, though. They do have agents enough to say. It will fly out. Now Erica just going to doppel his way out of that situation as well. Silent. Doesn't find the right target to ensnare. Nothing to say, does eat the cheese and go back in. Who's the Shackle on? They found Shifu. He does BKB up and just run. Nothing to say now, trapped in his own Serpent Ward zone. No, he does get Xiaofu with the jump, but loses the Aegis. They'll go again. Hammer there. King, do not want to fight this, but who's that being caught out? It's Erica, the man that hasn't died. He's 12-0 right now. Overgrowth's going to be there. Static Storm with the kinetic field as well. Do they have the damage output? A huge torrent coming out from Brown. They find one, but now the roar comes out Erica. He's still safe. The Ice Path as well. Sylar just on top of that PL. They do find the kill. That's a godlike streak going to Sylar. Now Blood trying to run away. He'll throw a torrent out, but Sylar is on the chase back. Q's there with the X. Now Shackles, and this is looking worse and worse for Keen as they are dropping like flies throughout this engagement. Not to say even buying back throughout all that just to get in there and really secure a kill for himself.
Oh.
You know what, John? I was going to ask you before that team fight started. I noticed that the PL, Erica, he went for the level 25 talent going for the critical strike chance rather than the 4-second doppelganger cooldown. And that's not used to seeing on PLs. They usually almost always go for the doppelganger cooldown. Do you think that affected him much? I mean, he was very on mana the whole time.
It still does hurt. I guess if you are kind of focusing on V1 against Sylar, he is going to drain your mana. So you're not going to have access to doppel, but I think for a lot of that fight, when the Naga wasn't focusing on Erica, he would have had a lot more moments to slip in and out there and just really push it to the edge. This is going to give a lot of openings to EHOME. Keen Gaming, again, are facing issues on that high ground. They just cannot push as smoothly as you managed to force the buyback, Aegis, and Cheese from Nothing to Say. So they don't have 3 lives in Ursa. So that is something Keen can play around with. They have to tighten up their initiation. They really need to land the Overgrowth along with the Nova, along with the Static Storm on all of the key heroes they need to get, and they can build off from there. You do have certain things coming out from EHOME though, like the BKB for Sin Q. That just means he can shackle someone as long as he's alive, and that is super potent. It's a really long-range shackle. He has his blink. If Keen's not careful, it's not going to be too hard to find that backline that has been causing EHOME issues. And you look at that net worth lead, Mike, down to just 1k for Keen.
Yeah, I mean, the graph hasn't updated yet, but essentially that line should be around this mark here, where the mouse is. The graph always takes a bit more time to update for some reason, but it's only a 1k net worth lead, and I believe they had about a 9k lead before that team fight was going. So they had a very nice lead, and it was growing steadily, but now Silent at the top of the net worth board, feeling very confident on that Naga Siren. Has her own Abyssal Blade now, so you've got 2 on the side of EHOME. Faith Beyond picking up that very, very, very nice AC as well, which does work quite effectively up against the PL. Static Lane was committed, but Sin Q, he pops his BKB and just gets out of there. That was his 10-second charge. But considering we are 37 minutes almost into the game, it's well worth it just to be able to survive.
Yeah, that does distract Keen as well, so they're stuck top lane, and that will allow EHOME to apply some pressure across the map if they want to.
Well, it looks like that's exactly what they intend to do. Erica is trying to fight. He's not only faint, but now the macro play, Ice Palm, and Abyssal, and Raw, everything he's throwing out Erica. He does get a force stuff to get out of there. And now the team fight between Sylar. Can you get a song off? He can. But the BKBs from Blood and Darful are going to be enough to hold him in place. A nice X-Back to cancel the TP. And Sylar, you cannot get out of this. Surely the no sync circle wards won't be enough. And you know what, John? I'd hate to say it, but we saw the Abyssal come out of Sylar, and that connected on the right PL. Unfortunately, though, Faith Beyond, same time, and the Raw connected on Illusion. Have that Raw connected on Erica, that would have been a guaranteed kill, and that team fight may have gone the way of EHOME.
Yeah, it was all a bit of coin flip. Like, Erica was in such a terrible spot. If it was just played a bit better, you'd see Keen on the back foot now, but this kill does allow them to apply pressure of their own. They could try for the high ground again, maybe force the buyback out, although time is ticking, like it's less than a minute left. You're gonna have that Naga Siren to deal with in the high ground push, but Erica's feeling confident. Stands forward, they want that push.
You got the macro though. If you're why you just maybe you wait for the team fight, but CQ actually jumps in with an X. To say they just want to jump straight on Erica. They don't care. But again, 4 stars will save. Still nice chat. Just there. CQ holding in place. Look to say the Abyssal back. Now the Raw. It is on the right target, and they have time there to try and help it. Erica. He does die. He'll have buyback, but he has nowhere to TP to, and that means you're losing more. Xiaofu trying to survive the best he can, but it looks like he should just be dead. And oh, YDS, he stuck around to try and help him pick up the process as well. Jet to be dropped. CQ is searching. They know he's on the cliff, but they just can't get vision. But they got 2 huge picks on the side of Keen Gaming, and John, a free gem never hurts.
Oh, it definitely doesn't hurt, and that should help them out in taking out some of that vision that Keen has around the map, particularly that triangle. We haven't seen the most action in this area, but you want to get control there, especially as the Roach is starting to pick back in, and EHOME manages to get all of that done without expending buyback on Sylar. So he's going to have buyback the next time he falls, and he's already set to get some pressure on to the bottom set of racks.
The only people that don't have buyback right now are Benna and Urs, and of course, Xiaofu did just buy it back.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
I heard a boat come out, but I believe that was on a Naga Siren Illusion.
Yeah, pushing bot lane just to relieve that pressure, but they're still going to lose this mid-tier too.
Yeah.
Are they?
Oh, they definitely should. They might deny it, but they won't even get that off. Get a nice D ward out on the way home, and EHOME. They'll probably just wait for the next Roshan at this point. No need to risk it. And that is a very early Roshan timer as well.
Oh yeah.
35 seconds for the next Roshan. So EHOME are really getting blessed in this game with all this little that they're finding, and let's see if they scout it out. But generally speaking, with the Beastmaster, you're usually going to have a Hawk in there 24/7.
Yeah.
Just keeping eyes on it, so they should see it pretty quick.
And the other thing for EHOME as well, they've got control of the map for a long time. Like, they've got the outposts, so they have been finding the EXP. They've been taking the bounty runes themselves. This gives them that 6k lead. They have a good amount of EXP on their supports, and Keen has kind of faltered in controlling those map objectives. This is exactly how EHOME tends to bounce back. We've seen them in this kind of game before, EHOME, and they do work their way back. So Keen is not quite out of it. The Roche is going to be key. They cannot afford to wait Roche. This is great that they have a courier watching, and this might actually allow Keen to go in first. EHOME isn't quite aware yet. They don't have any Hawks in that area.
Which is very surprising, because again, Faith is usually quite on top of that Roshan pit with these Hawks, but well, he actually does have a Hawk there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he does. They know. How dare you doubt Faith? Now, well, Keen, they're going to go in there, but again, you're going to know this. You're surely going to know if you're Keen Gaming that there's a Hawk there. In fact, there's another one now. And smoke on smoke situation. It will be broken. Now Abyssal straight on YDS, but 4-star will send him. He beats the fly out. YDS avoids the ice bomb. They just really want to take down that disruptor, but now the Roar comes up. It connects on Blood, but a huge overgrowth there from Fantasy. The fight is absolutely chaotic. Nobody dying yet, but there goes Blood. He does eventually go down once that boat run wears off, and now Erica, he's in trouble. He's trying to rush onto Q, but there's a lot of people behind him. He does eventually find the Shaman, but he is running out of illusions. Ice Path will not connect either. He still runs, but the chase is on from nothing saying. Now why? He'll rush forward. He'll try and find another support kill. There goes White, gets up to the disruptor, but Abyssal is there. Not saying no, he doesn't have the damage, but Silent does get him eventually. And now the Song, trying to catch out any stragglers. This will force out more buybacks from the side of King Gaming. In fact, it forces out all buybacks. Shafu does get a Lotus Orb to get that snare back the way of Silent, but he does go down, and now they've lost Fantasy. These buybacks are not great now from Keen. They kind of need them anyway to make sure this Roshan does not go down to EHOME. They got to stick around to defend this.
Yeah,
if they win the next Roshan fight, John, the game's over.
Yeah, just on the turn of those sets of events, like Xiaofu bought back so early to save his bot racks, which now are shoved in. Like they only have melee racks left. He's not gonna have buybacks, even if he respawns. He's not gonna have a tool available, and EHOME knows. They managed to find what they want. They force all the buybacks they could, and they're gonna find a nice Roche. They don't have the ults, Keen, so even if they rush in, all they really have is Boat Torrent, maybe Static Storm, and it falls too fast to contest.
Oh no. They had a courier there as well, but they just didn't feel like they could possibly defend, and you can't blame them for that. It's gonna be a very, very hard count for that Roshan play. They understood if they lost that fight, they would have lost the game immediately. So they put all their eggs in the high ground basket. Just try and defend that high ground as best as possible. Problem is now you've got nothing to do with an Aghanim Scepter Blessing. And bot lane, you kind of depend on YDS right now, John. That Static Storm is important. He's gone.
Hawk placement from Fate Beyond just to find these pickups.
Then we get X on nothing to say, but he'll be just fine. And he does have in range on a very low cooldown now, and of course that Earth Shock is such a big AoE with the talent. BKB's uncle, they found Hex in there, moving on to Erica. They can't lose his PO, he does not have a buyback. Boat will fly in, Erica's falling very low and he is dead. This game may just be over if they don't come up with some sort of miracle here, and they can't. GP has been full, Blood is about to die and does eventually go dead. EHOME. It looked so good for Keen Gaming. They could not come to hide and get the work done in EHOME. One of their classic comebacks make it happen in game one.
Yeah.
FY, he's found himself No Tail out on his own.
He trapped him.
There's no tell. Is he going to get any sort of backup? No, there's 3 still dead on OG. It'll be a slow and painful death here for no tell as Arme comes in for the kill secure.
And I love the way that Chalice popped his BKB super early in that fight. He just knows, I just need to get my ulti off. And he cast it at a very safe range. He didn't wait for the last second of his BKB. He's not very greedy. I think that's a lot of the reason why they've been winning these team fights. Seb has been struggling, still about 1,000 gold away from his BKB.
I mean, yeah, this Brewmaster is a display of perfection, really. It's the highest level in the game with his Bloodseekers.
And doing a ton of damage. It's one of the most damage in the game as an offlaner.
Now has full Shiva, so even more ways. He's pretty much itemized entirely just to be like, Ana, I'm ruining your game. I've got Radiance, I've got Shivas. You're going to struggle so much in these fights as Phantom Lancer.
Eric's did his best to keep Ana alive, and but Ana wasn't able to do damage because he was ruptured. He wasn't that low on HP, but still can't run around.
Seb.
Oh, Ame's coming into this here.
Got to be careful who shows up top. Indeed, Jerax. He's going out on his own. He doesn't expect Arme to have this invis route. As Arme will show himself. Jerax goes across, but Somnus is there.
Somnus is not messing around rupturing.
No mercy. They're feeling very confident now at this point, getting these very advantageous team fights as well as getting kills on the split push too. Thompson though, we'll find X-Nova.
Seb, and as well, between the two of them, they'll take down the support edge. FY's going to come in though. He hasn't got anyone else with him at the moment. It is just FY, so just playing around with Seb.
He has no help around at all, and he's still just making Seb's life miserable.
He's toying with him. He's just making him not be able to come back. Look, they're already starting to rotate this Brewmaster and Bloodseeker too, and FY, he's ready to look for Seb.
Seb's got to get out.
Oh, Seb.
As indeed FY, the patience keeping that control on Seb, buying time for Chalice to come in. Ana is going to look towards the Tusk. Chalice is now there, does have Primal Split available if he wants to look to take this fight. Somnus coming in as well. As Ana, Seb look to hide in the trees. Can they get out of it? Ana's got a TP available. He's into the trees. He's going to show himself in the lane though. They're going to continue to head over. They are going to see Seb make it out in time. They don't have a stun. Ana, can he get out as well? He can. OG will avoid that rotation from PSG LGD.
FY is just so obnoxious there, following Seb for over a minute, just stalking him, trying to have his team come over.
So that's about, a minute without Aegis being used for LGD. They have 2 minutes left, I would say, to capitalize on this Aegis. Oh man, looks like he is level the PL.
Pretty much back to a 50-50. PSG LGD 2-1 up at the moment in this best of 5 grand finals. 1 game needed to secure the championship title. And at this point, they are ahead here in game 4.
No-Tail hasn't had time to gather a full army of Ancient Crates. Right now, he just has the Ancient Black Dragon. You really want those other auras when you're at a big disadvantage in these team fights already.
Yeah, it's tough though, because Jerax doesn't want to be following around his Chen, giving him the Aghanim. So. As Thompson, he does have a Lincoln Spirit picked up, and they should have the BKB finished on Seb too. So that'll give him a little bit easier time to get those Blink Claws as he's been suffering to do so in the last few fights. And Somnus, I've Scotty picked up, about to be level 25 as well.
Yeah, they just need a couple more minutes on the side of OG before they're ready to fight. Wait for Aegis to expire.
Seb, he's in, gets the call, the character's going to get FY, there with the snowball save, he's going to be fine, and now they turn to look towards the axe. The taunt's going to be out. Seb goes for the TP. They've got the stun to cancel though. Seb held back for now. Thompson trying to offer his best from the side to provide some sort of safety, as he will get Seb back. They're able to get Seb back to safety, and Thompson, he's running away. X-Nova's there with the wraparound, gets the slow off, gives the vision for the snowball. TP from No-Tail's coming in towards the stride, but Thompson, he's trapped.
That's twice in this series that X-Nova just comes out of nowhere. Like, he's just on a warding expedition, then he just ends up wrapping behind these people constantly.
Perfect time.
Perfect timing, and has the send ton of creep to boot. And look at these deep wards that he's placed during that time that he was running around doing so. He now has full vision of OG. Yeah, he sees Ana farming these Ancients right now.
Oh, Ana. FY just giving so much information for the team. He's got eyes on him. Get the punch on the wrong target, but the snowball pass will catch Ana. Ana, he's in trouble. The blood bright silence connects. He's got the man to back up in a second, but can he really play his way out of this one? He cannot. Ana down for a minute and a half.
Just having all this vision. I mean, Nova throughout this whole tournament has had the best vision in every situation, even when you wouldn't expect it. They're just like, oh, they're fighting on the left side. They're not going to have vision over here. But no, Nova always seems to have those prepared in every situation.
And he has some incredible foresight to be able to have these wars that just lead to really clutch pickoffs. And Axe has not spent his money on BKB. He has the money, but he might be looking to save for buyback.
We'll see if any of the buybacks do get forced out. Thompson's still dead for 15. Ideally, he doesn't buy back it. They may have to buy back on Ana. He's gone for 50 seconds. The split coming out from Chalice.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Keen Gaming's Radiant to ban. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Keen Gaming's turn to ban.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are here for game number 2 between EHOME and Keen. It is MLP Dota and Tronics Fire. John, you know what I love more than casting Dota? I love when we start the night with an amazing game. And that really was quite a way to start the night, John. It just gets you very excited for what's to come in game 2.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like EHOME with the amazing comeback, Keen Gaming looking really strong in the first half of that game, just not getting enough done on the map. Like, they cleared out all the towers of EHOME. They couldn't get any real damage. On the high ground, it was EHOME that actually did take the first tower, that took the first racks, that really just took over despite playing at the deficit. And Keen, they have to really shake it up. I think that was probably one of the best performances we saw from them. Even Xiaofu's Veno was also spectacularly on point. It's just, it wasn't quite enough to put a dent in EHOME. So they've got to shake it up. They've got to maybe look at doing some parts of that from game 1 the same way. Like, EHOME was struggling when they were playing musical chair lanes, constantly swapping Sylar and nothing to say around. I think if you can force them in a situation like that and actually take out key objectives, shut down the map properly, EHOME would actually struggle pretty hard against that style of gameplay.
The thing is as well, if you do find yourself with that lead, you can't hesitate at all to go high ground. Against a team like EHOME. You can't. You've got to make plays happen straight away. Like that first game, we saw them take so many objectives across the map, but it took them, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes to try and break high ground. And even then, by that point, why just constantly spam macro pyro? We saw the amazing plays out of SingQ as well. Just always find the Hex Shackle on the PL. Erica didn't have a BKB at the time. In fact, he never did get a BKB that game, nor did he have anything like a Satanic to try and bring himself back up in those team fights. There was no saving mechanic. Even the level 25 talent, he didn't go for it. It was all DPS. And, well, we'll see what happens in game 2. At least game 1 was a very, very entertaining one. Game 2, the draft has begun, John. EHOME, they had first pick. They took the Pangolier. And now they go for a second pick, Chen. Keen go for the Lich Beastmaster opening. But I've got to say, looking back at that Chen pickup from EHOME, this isn't something you see out of them very often.
Yeah, it's not the most common pickup for them. It would be fascinating to see what exactly they opt to do with it. Of course, the Chen just gives you great sustain, especially in that mid game. Once you have your level 6 and the mech up and running, you're going to be able to sustain pushes, sustain fights by your presence, and you can't forget or discount like the push potential Chen brings, not just from sustaining a creep wave, but from having a massive creep army as well. That is something EHOME can pull out. I think it is just a really potent support for them to have. Like, Keen has the same thing going on with the Beastmaster, and we saw Fate Beyond play that last game. Of course, it's going to be more than likely Fu on that hero this time around. So they want to have that push potential. That excellent single target control is going to be there. And of course, the laning presence is not the easiest thing to lane up against. So Keen is looking for what looks to be still that fast-paced game. You're not going to be having lane shenanigans with a Beastmaster compared to something like the Venomancer. So there's not much really you can do. Like, you're always just gonna cop it from EHOME, but it's not gonna be completely unfavorable, and it's not gonna be like a complete shutout like Venomancer and Ursa. You're not gonna see that kind of dedication to keeping a matchup here, but there is still that potency. The vision you get with a Beast is pretty good, and the laning presence of the Lich, we all know what it does. You know, Frost Arm is great, Frost Blast is great. It's just a stable sort of support to have. Not the most explosive drafts from both sides, but I do kind of favor EHOME's more just a bit. Like, the Pangolier we know for a fact is not a Fate Beyond hero, so you kind of expect that to already be a support, but EHOME could try to play a bit sneaky with that, although I don't expect them to.
Yeah, he does run it once in a while, but it is very, very rare that Faith Beyond does bother with the Pangolier, and it's also very rare they do first pick a Faith Beyond hero. So King Gaming almost certainly assume already that it's going to be Xingqiu playing that Pangolier, and to be fair, we have seen Xingqiu on the Pango quite a few times. That would force Y to play the pos 5 Chen, in all fairness, and sometimes you don't really want to have Chen in the pos 5 position, but whoa, they get rid of the Shaman.
Yeah, I was wondering, because they know this is more than likely the support duo. Like, Fate Beyond is not going to be playing Pango. They wouldn't pick Fate Beyond's hero first. It is a bit radical for EHOME to just lock themselves to a support duo, but they're the kind of team that really doesn't care too much. And this just gives EHOME a lot more leeway in their draft. Like, Keen, pick up the Phoenix. So that gives you great sustain, great laning presence. You don't really have the team fight to revolve around that egg just yet. You don't have like the Mars to have the arena for, or even like a Treant for the Overgrowth. So it's not going to be the easiest time to get the best egg in the world here, but it does give Keen a little bit more sustain and a hell of a lot of DOT damage coming out here. So that's something EHOME has to be slightly careful about. I will say though, without something like the Bane or with the Grimstroke with your hand, it should be a good time to get the Rolling Thunders off in Pangolier, and EHOME actually goes for the Anti-Mage.
Well, I was about to say that they don't really have a way to close the gap and take out the Phoenix, like the Phoenix egg in these team fights, but AM? That's a quick one. I mean, you've certainly got the blink into the egg, and he does attack relatively quick if you want to burst it down with the AM, but I don't think that's what they've really chosen it for. That is an AM into a Beastmaster as well.
Yeah.
You've got that natural counter.
Yeah, that's a big one. It's like,
Oh. Now
yikes,
a PA comes
okay.
out.
That one, like, okay, it's supposed to be iffy for EHOME because they picked the AM into Beast. I really don't like how PA's been doing this past patch. Like, yeah, she has a great level 25 talent. The issue is we haven't seen a PA actually hit level 25 in any of the matches that shows up. Now, considering the pace EHOME is looking to bring, like with the AM, of course, you might want to slow the game down just a bit. You might be able to see that coming out from Keen. And you do certainly have soft targets to squish. Like the Shen is going to be a really relatively easy pick off. Even the AM with a well-equipped PA can kind of just die if you're not careful. So if Keen actually does opt to play the fast PA game, it can certainly take over. You have a lineup that comes relatively quickly online. The only real issue here for Keen is that beyond a Roar, you don't have the best tools to keep the AM in place. You're going to have to revolve around that Primal Roar and Beastmaster if you want to hunt the Anti-Mage down.
I think what King's trying to do here is they're just going to try and set a real quick pace EHOME, because, you know, with the AM, if he gets to that late game stage where he can just, he has Manta, he has Battle Fury, he can just start splitting the map very easily. And we saw that last game with EHOME where they just didn't allow Keen Gaming to ever feel comfortable to go past the river and take high ground even with the advantage they had. If they can get Sylar farmed up on the... Okay, Mirana's here now. So, some very intriguing things happening here from EHOME. But I think my point was, if King Gaming can put a pace on the side of EHOME and not allow to get to that point where he has Battle Fury Manta, then they might be able to split the map up very easily, and they might be able to actually achieve that high ground. Still though, more intriguingly though, John, what's going on here? So it does seem like it's going to be an offlane Pangolier now.
Haven't we seen Beyond play the Mirana a lot? Like, I think it...
Have we?
I feel like we have, like, a couple times. I can't recall. Maybe I'm mixing it up a bit. But it wouldn't be too surprising if they actually went core Mirana, if they wanted to. On the Void Spirit, of course. Okay, it's gonna be Sin-Q. Alright. So it is the Fate Beyond Pango. That's not something we're treated to all too often. He can close out with the TA. I think that ties in their draft to what you were saying. It's a quick-paced draft. It will melt heroes. I would like to see Erica build up to the early Desolator instead. So don't go for the Battle Fury, or even just skip the Desert. Like, if Blood gonna go Desert anyway, I guess you could make an argument for the Battle Fury. Like, you're gonna have the minus armor and Blood, but you want to be able to take advantage of that early minus armor on the TA along with PA. Just keep jumping in, keep forcing out these fights. EHOME does have certain ways of bursting through something like, especially the PA. They have great magic damage with the Mirana and the Void Spirit. So that's something for Keen to watch out for, but picking it up. They're not going to be playing lane switching too much, but they should be able to snowball really hard from the laning phase. What they've done in game 1, they need to stall out just a bit for Sylar, buy space for him on the map, and hope he gets big enough.
Well, it should be a pretty interesting game too. Really quick, John, that Pangolier that we saw for Faith Beyond was picked up as the first pick. They really haven't got many forms of control through that Rolling Thunder.
No.
You've got the Roar available, but you don't generally want to have to commit that on a Rolling Thunder target, because then you're going to have to deal with the AM, who can just do whatever he wants in the fight. That could be a real cause of concern for Keen, just not having an answer once that Rolling Thunder comes out, apart from Zhao Fu. But again, do you really want to force him to roar that target?
No, probably not. You really want to get a grip on the Void Spirit instead. So this should allow Fate to really get the roles he wants, to get the disruptiveness he wants in the team fights. It is rather unfortunate, but EHOME did ban out the Grimstroke in the first phase. So you were never going to have that Soulbind, a great piece of control to stop that Pango, and that just means it should be a decent time. I think the lanes are really what to watch out for. Look, Erica up against the Pango isn't the worst. You can still play with Stifling Dagger, but you will have to watch out for the early damage that Fate Beyond can really pump out.
Yeah, you will. Dagger's nice and all, but EHOME, they do also have the potential to really try lane if they feel like they can. I doubt they will, because then you're going to leave this AM alone up against the Beastmaster, and that's just going to be impossible for Silent to deal with. But for now, they've kept 3 up top. Y is starting to walk his way back down to the bot lane, so it looks like he was just there just if they could find a first blood opening with Sin-Q's arrow. That's another thing as well, like Sin-Q, see how well he can get those arrows off on this Mirana. So it can really be a pretty massive game changer if you do find a few very nice early arrows, just to get some key important pickoffs. And well, for now at least, Sin-Q should probably just be arrowing some large camps, but later on we'll see if he can get some heroes.
Yeah, I think his laning presence is still going to be great though. Like, he starts out with the Blightstone, and he has really good range, so he can really just twack onto Erica or Fantasy, and it's not going to be a great time for the Lich to constantly cop that, although Fit Beyond is dropping low. That's
standard though. Against a Pangolier, like, the weakest part of this Pango is generally that level 1 stage. Again, we do see Keen Gaming just emptying all their mana out ASAP onto Faith Beyond, and it was the same story last game as well, if you remember. They did not find the first blood on Faith, because they did just use every single piece of mana they still had. Did end up panning out for them that time. Of course, looking over the mid lane for a second, nothing to say he's going to be there up against blood on the TA. And it seems like it's going to be one of those lanes where you just kind of trade evenly for a while, as neither one should really be able to kill the other. So both of them have those really nice defensive capabilities.
Yeah, like nothing to say can't quite burn through the refractions once it's up to a very nice point. And Blood does have some great damage output towards the Void Spirit if you're not careful, so both will just kind of opt to farm up. The one thing that Keen has with his lane is that Blood does farm a bit better in that jungle, so the farm acceleration for RTA is a lot faster, and that's something that EHOME might want to consider if they want to deny that jungle farm for the TA.
Yeah. We'll see if get that done. I mean, Xin-Q should be rotating anyway as soon as you do notice the TA missing. It's very easy to soak farm and just soak XP and just get some farm with arrow off the TA if you do find him taking stacks. Top lane Faith Beyond again gonna fall very, very low on that Pangolier. Will be just fine for now. Xin-Q still really keeping Fantasy at bay on the lich, and that Blightstone is really starting to pay off as Fantasy has no regen left on that lich. In fact, Xin-Q may actually go for this and does take the arrow. Fantasy does try to use the stick charges, but it will not work out. Xin-Q does find first blood for the side of EHOME.
Yeah, it's a great little pick off for Xin-Q that does kind of refresh our lich, so he's going to come back in with full mana and full HP. Which means that Fate Beyond is going to be copying it, but I think this is exactly what EHOME wants to get done anyway. They understand Fate is probably not going to die. They don't quite have the best kill potential from Keen, so just have Xin-Q force the support to die every single time. You're going to win out.
So far as well, at the bottom lane, like Syla's been having a pretty decent time on the AM, I've got to say. Oh,
yeah.
Jiafu doesn't go for the ball build? Really? I mean, that's the whole point of the Beastmaster. Like, you go war build and you make the AM's life hellish, but he doesn't opt to do it.
Yeah, he's going for the lane shove and damage from Wild Axis. It's not really paying off. Like, he's behind in terms of last hits. He's always out of mana because Sylar's not scared to right click. And sure, YDS is pumping some damage out as well, but you see that? Like, they have the Hill Troll Priest just healing up. So just having that great sustain for his AM by having this creep around. Look at that.
15 HP at a time, but there's really no cooldown for it, so... So 1 second half a second worth of a cooldown, and every time you go for the Hill Troll Priest, he'll just heal himself up. This, you know how many years it's been since I've seen this? This happened in the first couple years of Dota, Dota 2 I should say, and it happened again, but I haven't seen it in such a long time in a pro game. It was a joke back then, but it's actually working.
This is kind of ridiculous, right? Like, Sylar is solo laning up against a Beastmaster and a Phoenix, and he still has 2 tangos, he's still healthy. They're just getting so much value from the Chen, and he's not even in lane.
Gotta love the fact as well that you'll never run out of mana on this Hill Troll Priest. He has, it's 5 mana to spam that heal. And, I mean, people look at it and go, oh, it's just 15 HP. That's essentially 15 HP every second. So you're basically...
It's a lot.
You're looking at a Centaur right now with the Ring of Tarask. Just sitting in lane enjoying himself. Like, he's got a constant tango up on Sylar. YDS, he's trying to deal with this priest. It just won't die because it's being microed so well. They don't even bother with it anymore, but Sylar's literally got more than a tango running at every stage of this lane. You can't kill him like this. Sylar's just...
No, you can't.
Zero pressure.
Yeah, this is the freest AM lane we've seen in a while, and this is still with a dual lane. He's not actually having free lane. There you go. YDS actually commits the spells to burn the priest, so Sylar will have to step back, but I'm sure Y is just going to go hunting for another one at some point.
Doesn't even need to. You're almost at that level 5 mark, and why he actually took the Val Assassin now, so that'll actually tick through the TA refraction charges. Y is being very clever with the creeps he takes on this Chen, and he's going to disrupt Blood's farm quite a bit. And speaking of Y as well on the Chen, John, he hasn't taken any XP off the aim. In fact, Xin-Q now going to rotate in onto Blood. They did spot out the stacks he's made for himself. Whether Xin-Q sticks around to soak XP is a different story altogether. They may just try to force the T1 tower in, and yeah, they are. You already see the rotations there from Fantasy now. And this is just great news for EHOME. The way they're playing this early game is really just quite fantastic. As Fantasy, he puts down a Frost Shield, but that's all he can do to defend this lane. So now, Astral Step, they found YDS.
Ooh, that was the purge from the Satyr creep. They just purge up Phoenix, chase him down.
And now nothing to say. He has dived a bit too deep. A-Throw though will connect. The TA now, Arrow comes in. Synq does connect. He's trying to run away, but the purge again comes out wide. He doesn't want to back off. He'll take the courier instead from YDS. YDS wasn't even there yet. Just had it there preemptively. His blood barely survives the Starfall now. And the Mirana, nothing to say now, has 3 heroes chasing him down on this Void Spirit. Even Erica joining in. They do eventually find the kill, so good on him. But this Void Spirit is at the top of the last hits board and just dragged 5 heroes into the mid lane at 7.5 minutes. 5 heroes.
It's a lot of space bot for EHOME. Like, the bot lane is just a 1v1. Sylar's not going to be feeling trapped. Look, it's Xiaofu. He has no mana every single time. Even now that he has the boars up, like, you can't do anything against this AM. The top lane's freed up for Fate Beyond. So he has his level 6 in the Pango. He's working towards his Soul Ring. Erica's still at level 5, about to hit 6 though. So you are seeing that at least.
Down for easy kill. Same, making that rotation at level 7 now on the Void Spirit. Of course, Y was there as well with some follow-up and some creeps, and Y takes one of the Beast Master balls for himself. Just to spit in the face of the Beastmaster, just like, oh, you skilled your ball now? I'll take it. Thank you. And I guess that kind of answers our question as to why he wasn't going the ball build, of course. There's a Chen. So
yeah,
that makes more sense, of course, now that we think about it, but still, like, you can't get anything done with Wild Axes up against an AM. Like, it just doesn't do anything.
No, you do at least have to farm in Xiaofu to finish up the Necrobook 1, so he has a lot more presence here. You have to be a little bit careful if you're Sylar. You don't want to cop all that creep damage, and this should allow Xiaofu to at least shove out the lane a bit better. They do still have YDS hanging around, and Y is, you know, he's just doing Chen stuff, but there is a huge response from EHOME here, though.
Yeah, just gonna push him back. It's all about giving Sylar that space, and now Arrow, those unit blocked from Xiaofu, almost cost YDS. Did have Faith Beyond right behind Faith. He wants to use that Rolling Thunder. Meanwhile, nothing to say. He does get mid tier 1 tower. They spot out YDS, or rather YDS spots out the rotation. Faith Beyond misses the swashbuckle, but immediately goes for that stun. The refraction is going to be there, but they'll tick through that relatively quick as Blood. He's in big trouble. Fantasy has got the Frost Shield out, and now the rotations come in. It's way too late, though. They can try to punish. They may find Faith, but no, he has another swash. They're just waiting to see if they can go back in, and they can. Faith will go down now. Eric has also showed up in the mid lane on the PA. This is not great news. Eric's being forced to rotate all the time, and that's allowing this AM to just get ahead.
Oh wait, yeah, this is not going out well. Whoa.
Not to say he could die here though, so Erica does get something out of it. In fact, it's YDS that claimed the gold anyway. So as much as I like the fact that they got the Void Spirit kill, it's still not great news.
It cost them so many heroes to come in for that. You look at Erica's build-up, and you look at Blood. Blood is so far behind the TA. He's still trying to finish up power treads. This forces our PA to get the Desolator. You would really rather that in the TA.
I don't know if you just saw that mid lane. YDS felt like he was forced to use his egg, and Faith got the kill anyway. They do find Y down at the bot lane, so the Chen does go down. Erica will just stick by his team, and they're going to group up and try to force this bot tier 1 in now. Of course, they do have that.
They don't have Roar, though. Like, Xiaofu used Aurora on a support Chen. So this will let Nothing to Say to just dip in and out.
They just seem very desperate right now, John. Erica, and the arrow comes out. Just great setup, and Erica's dead. Chain Frost will bounce through. It will not kill anyone, however, or maybe sink you. How unlucky can you get? He will not get unlucky. The Chen heal will come in just in time. Fantasy, 8th Remnant will be dodged, but the likelihood is he probably still dies if Nothing to Say really wants it. They take the board to avoid the Nothing to Say. Great play from Y. Oh, and EHOME is making this really hard for Keen.
Oh, they really are. It's a 4K lead for EHOME at 11 minutes. This is with an AM. You'd expect EHOME to have less laning presence, less aggression coming out, but they've managed to give Siler so much space, and he's not even top of net worth. Top of net worth is still nothing to say with all his early movement. They do finally get heroes up top, but none of them are really a threat. Like Erica does no damage. Right, still saving up for that Desolator, which again, you would rather have on your TA because she's just much more potent with that instantaneous burst. Now, in a rotation, your TA has to wait for your PA to come in first.
Yeah, I mean, Blood's got that very early blink. They're going to try and save between each other and just share these items, essentially. It's, it can work. You really... Like you said, you've got to make sure that you coordinate that quite well. EHOME, meanwhile, they go for a smoke that's underneath an observe ward of the Dire, so Keen should easily be able to avoid the smoke attempt.
Radiant's middle tower is
Sticking around though.
They must think they're gone to the mid lane. Raw comes out.
No.
Not to say he's just perfectly fine, but now the arrow flies through, but it does connect on a unit still. Beastmaster has nowhere to go. They saw the smoke.
I know what they were expecting. It's just so strange. These things are... EHOME had possibly one of the, well, ill-timed smokes there, and Keen had all the opportunity to go away. And they still stuck. Like, they were just standing there for so long. Like, they tried to roar, nothing to say. They don't have the damage. He has so much armor with an early blade mail. So much durability. You don't have anything on your beast. Like, he has level 2 necrobugs. That's it. That's not going to be enough to burn a hero like that down.
No, it's not. So he's getting very, very close to that Battle Fury time now. Should have it by the 15-minute mark, maybe a tiny bit later. It's going to be quite nice timing considering he does have the treads and double break pads as well. And yeah, that's a real concern. Like, we talked about the AM in the drafting phase, John. We talked about how he could just split the map completely and essentially do what EHOME did last game to Keen Gaming. But when you're ahead like this on the side of EHOME and you have an AM, I mean, it becomes impossible.
Oh, it really does. And Keen needs to stitch it together, try to get the team fight going. They have really strong spells. It's just they don't have the opportunity, although nothing to say.
Moonlight Shadow was there in time. Does he survive? He does. They don't have the 3 book, they have the protection. Xingqiu with the Moonlight Shadow perfectly timed. I don't know if he saw that coming or not. They didn't have any wards, but he just times it so perfectly.
Oh, man.
Oh, they don't have detection. He was just outside of the T2 tower range as well.
Yeah, that's not great. Oh, okay. Looked like YDS kind of went for a dive TP that could have ended badly, but gets way in. That's so much investment from Keen. That was the roar once more. So Xiaofu doesn't have that. They don't find a pick off. They are actually trying to play aggressive though. Like, I do respect that, but they need to be ready. They're playing against Mirana. Surely they know they need some form of dust.
It was all cores though, to be fair. Like, these cores have kind of been starved of gold anyway. So maybe they just rely on Xiaofu's Necro 3 book, which is on the way. So they won't have that problem another time, assuming the units are available to use. Mind you, he has been forced to literally go Necro 3 book, and he doesn't even have boots yet.
Yeah.
Probably the greatest way to the gap of this smart stuff. They may try to make a play on Faith PR now just to really secure that T1 tower at the 15-minute mark. This is a real shame for Keen Gaming, right? Because Keen was T1 5 minutes ago. You had that 10-minute speech creep. But they didn't get it, and now they're going to try again. EHOME, they probably will feel no need to try and defend. Instead, they will start pushing in mid.
Yeah, and while all of that's happening, Siler has a free time top. He has his Battle Fury and Blood.
He was timing. The sentry was coming in wide. Arrow, not connect, but he's actually going in.
Oh.
They don't really have the lockdown, I don't believe, or maybe even with an increment, not hit on cooldown. But now he gets it. Oh, and let's see, in the T3 tower, Faith Beyond says, I'll even go after you. Why not?
Dire's top tower
Oh, Keen. It's like they just don't have anything right now. They're forced to show one of their bigger cores, and oh my god, seriously? His brown boots.
Beyond just finding kills and finding students now. Jafu had shoes that he wanted to wear. Those were his Nikes, John. Air Jordans. Gone.
It really reminds me of like Command and Conquer generals. You know, the GLA guys always want shoes. That's Xiao Fu right now. He just wants some new shoes.
No.
He's not getting them.
No place the game, John. YDS in trouble. After the same Jafu does come. This will be a big kickoff, but can you lock him down long enough? They have the gaze, and he did not have a bashful step. So they do find a massive pick, the Keen game. And it's a substantial amount of gold to Xiao Fu.
Yeah, it is.
Lost a lot of heroes, though.
I think that's fine. Like, they still find that big kill. There's really nothing else around the map you could do besides maybe try to hunt Sylar. That doesn't sound like a great idea, especially when you don't have Roar. It's just hard now. He's almost at his mant as the AM, so it's been a free farm game. Or Sylar, you can't quite say the same as Keen. Like, they are saving up. You do see Erica with the Desolator. You actually take a look at Blood, he's saving up for his own Desolator. So you're gonna have two Desolators on the side of Keen, which is kind of fine. You want Blood to be able to operate independently of the PA, so he's gonna have to have it, but it's still kind of a slow build up. You really need to see a lot more coming out, a much more synchronized team fight. The Roar on top of the egg.
Oh, top of the... And he's just outplaying Erica right now, but Erica will outplay him in the end with the tick.
Oh no.
Oof. That's clench the butt cheeks when you see that arrow coming towards each other.
Wide
lane, YDS gonna make a jump onto Faith Beyond. Why? He does get caught out by Blood. So another nice stuff for the side of Keen Gaming, and if there's a time for Keen, it's right now. You've got the Necro 3, you've got the Blink. Sure, you don't have the... or you do have the Deso. Erica does have one. He's just not with the team. This is the time to play if you are Keen Gaming.
Yeah, they are looking really super strong. Oh, Sin-Q.
Yeah, they just get rid of this Rana. Rolling Thunder is there. It's the backup. He goes after YDS. Egg gonna be committed now, so he does force out the Egg by himself, but they still lose that tier 1 tower. YDS isn't gonna mind getting the Egg for that. Could be fine. In fact, Roshan, maybe for Keen. Oh, not the same. Jumps in straight onto the Beastmaster jump. He does tick out. Faith is still in the middle of all this, but he can swashbuckle away. And they know without that egg, they can go for a fight right now, EHOME. That's what they're trying to do. Moon gonna come out. Keen gonna be very, very careful. They don't have much sentries around. Dust already being thrown out. In fact, two of them. They do find nothing to say, but he will dissimulate and go up the high ground. Traps to be set. 8th Remnant does catch out Blood. Arrow will completely whip. However, not Faith Beyond does jump in. There's going to be a blink out. Erica, he blinks. Faith Beyond does go down. A lot of gold going to YDS to get on the Phoenix. Now nothing to say, doesn't have another Astral Step available. He needs to wait for another 4 seconds to simulate straight back into the middle. Arrow to fly in, Fantasy, he's low. The Astral Step away, but you have lost Y again. More traps to slow down, nothing to say. They are eventually going to find this Void Spirit, and now Sin-Q. He may have overstayed his welcome, though no. Sylar, he's coming in. He wants to go for some support pickoffs. The Mana Void will find one. YDS may find another. Sylar does get that kill. Now Xiao Fu, he's out of mana, but they don't want to have to do with this TA. Think out. It's still a good team fight for Keen. They find 2 cores and a support on top of that. They did not finish off the Mirana. If they can get this Roshan, it'll be a huge win for them.
Yeah, definitely would be. Sin-Q should be able to spot this out. Does get the arrow true, so it is known to EHOME now, and they can just jump back in.
Faith does jump in, but he was just a second too late. Oh, no!
Xiao Fu!
Oh, no.
You killed him!
Xiao Fu kills his teammate. You had to try. There was no way out of that for the PA. He was dead if you didn't roar him anyway. Fantasy probably going to die as well. There's some nice trap slows coming out, but you've got an ensnare. No, it's on cooldown. You don't have an ensnare from the summoner, but you've got Sylar who just blinks in. Chain Frost. This could be bad for Sylar. There's plenty of creeps around him right now. He will manta and blink out.
Whew. Do find a lot, like with that Roche, it's going to be great. They still are behind by 10k, and you haven't had a chance to put a lid on the AM, although you should be able to find some nice supports here.
Yeah, Y goes down. By the way, while they were going after Y, Faith Beyond actually reveals the Heaven's Halberd now on the Pangolier, which is, considering you have a PA/TA, that's a real problem.
Oh yeah. It's going to be big. I think the main target should be Erica when he jumps in. Just easier to catch that PA out. Blood, you can kind of burst down. Okay.
Doesn't have Blink, now it does. Now this would be the kill that really gives them a chance back into this game. Sylar's actually just going to TP. Didn't have enough mana for the Blink TP, but it works out. Though, Aghanim Scepter is now up on nothing to say.
That's going to be big. Just the silence is really enough to change the pace. We've seen that so many times. And it is going to play into what EHOME has. Like Keen, they found these nice kills. They still haven't closed out the network cap. So that means Sylar's still doing his job, though.
Jump, but they didn't wait for Zhao Fu. Blood, he jumped in immediately. And Zhao Fu was just around the corner, but he wasn't in raw range. And that gave a warning over to nothing to say to just dissimulate and get out of there. And now with Moonlight Shadow, they may be willing to try and turn this around. They know their high ground's been taken.
Tower is under attack.
Or do they?
Dire's courier has been
Nothing to say, gets a courier.
Dire's structure
Keeps rushing through the mid lane. Yeah, they're just splitting the map, EHOME. They're just going to push bot. It's like, sure, have
They don't care. They don't care. They've got Sylar on the AM. He is still worth an insane amount of gold. He can shove out these towers by himself. Tier 2 bot just gonna go, and if you're Keen, do you really want to defend that, or do you really want to give it away? Looks like they will have to, because they're holding on to this really key area. There's just no one to kill.
Another interesting thing to note, by the way, John. They did end up going for double desos.
Yeah, that's something as well. Like, it does allow your TA to be independent, which you really want, right? Like, she's gonna be going around the map. She needs to clear out camps by herself. She has a great split.
But she
it's just that, yeah, she needs that as well. It's really the issue when you go with this kind of build where her Desolator came out way too late, so the PA felt like she needed it for the team, and they really did. Like, Erica needed that Desert to find those early kills. But at the same time, the TA is going to go for it anyway.
Not easy. Oh, nothing to say. Eighth Remnant gonna actually catch the TA. Arrow of Sparking Dagger, but Arrow flies through into YDS, but they do get a massive Void Spirit kill. But Faith Beyond, he doesn't care. He wants to keep going. Zhao Fu has the Roar. Weren't committed. Nice little crit on that dagger, but Faith Beyond is more than safe. And that's a big kill. If they can do that a few more times, you never know.
Yeah, they've got to keep finding that key pickoff. I think even finding Faith Beyond would be worthwhile. He is actually worth a little bit more gold than nothing to say, so that should give you the same effect. Keen has not had the opportunity to take any of those team fights, so EHOME has been super disciplined in splitting up, right? They haven't gotten the biggest chain frost or the biggest egg drop. That is really hurting Keen, because that's one big part of their power spike. EHOME's just happy enough to toss Sylar away, have him farm. He has a basher. He's working into the Abyssal, and once you have that up in the AM, it gets so much harder to even just fight him.
Well, they spot out Y. Another trap. Bud would love some free gold for himself, but he'll take the creeps. Won't bother with the hero. Don't want to dive too deep, you never know.
Dire's bottom tower.
EHOME just gonna bide their time, as you do see Sylar again split pushing. This time the top tier 2 tower. Meanwhile, we do see Faith Beyond now has a full MKB up, and yeah, I mean, Faith's farm is a bit out of control here for an offlane Pangolier. Yeah, we've seen so many times these Pangos, they just drop off and farm after picking up something like a Vladimir's. He has the Halberd, he has the Vanguard, he has the MKB, and he's gonna go into an Abyssal next, I'm sure. And once he's got the Abyssal up, it's like, how do you deal with this guy?
You can't. Like, you have to have the Roar just for that Pango, but you want it for the Void Spirit as well.
Phoenix Illusion does bait in the side of EHOME, but Arrow, Jiafu almost ran into it, but his board takes the kill. Now White, again, going to be the first target they want, so they will jump in. Spirit Vest on top with the Sun Ray, but White, yes, he goes down to the process. No egg going to be available. He can't fight back. Now Blood will try to fight. They'll go roar up the AM, try to take him down ASAP. Sylar, he's going to be able to blink out of there. He does get out in time. Meanwhile, Erica is dropping quite low, but he also runs out safely, or maybe not. Nothing to say, is back in the fight and does take him out with Sin Q. Now Jiafu, he goes invis, but that's going to leave the poor old Lich alone. Fantasy will die. It's a 3-for-1 trade. They were so close to getting Sylar, but he was just barely able to mad to blink. Now that tier 2 mid tower not going to be too safe in the presence of EHOME.
That was a really great jump in from EHOME. Like, they immediately lose Y, but they had the setup to really break it all up. We didn't see the egg drop because YDS was right in front. They need the egg to take control of that fight or take the focus of EHOME away, and Keen are just not able to get that positioning right.
Well, that's the problem, right? Like, you need someone else to initiate. Jiafu, he's probably telling his team, like, look, I need to wait for Sylar to blink in. I can't roar anyone else. Sylar needs to die. You don't want Erica to blink in because he hasn't got a BKB. You could ask Blood to blink in, but he was kind of occupied with the AM at the time, and it was just very, very rough. Now, they spot him out. They see Blood, they see Jiafu. Blood getting jumped on. The Abyssals there from Sylar. And now Rolling Thunder to follow up, and we're 28 minutes in. Sylar's got the Abyssal up now. Faith Beyond's almost at his own Abyssal. In fact, Faith Beyond's still going after YDS. YDS has Icarus dive, but he's been silent. No, he wasn't. Okay. I thought he was for a second.
Oh man, Keen Gaming just not able to really get anything done. Like, there's a BKB. TA at least, so next time that fight breaks out, you know, it's down to 9 seconds, but that should allow her to stand in front, but doesn't stop the bashes. And this higher ground push can be straightforward, but probably gonna need to drop the egg if they want to save it. No.
Abyssal again. YDS, no buyback available on the Phoenix. I mean, this game is just falling apart for Keen. This is really as bad as it gets. We're at 18k worth of a net worth lead for EHOME. Just, you're so far behind with heroes that need to be in front at this stage of the game. Because their power spikes are really in this mid game. They do not spike at all in the late game, apart from that PA. But you're talking level 25, like she's still 8 levels off that.
Oh.
It's likelihood is she's not going to have the time, and even if she does, Sylar's got an Abyssal up. Faith Beyond's going to have an Abyssal up. They don't care if you have a BKB and a level 25 talent.
Yeah, it's not going to be enough. And there's a lot here from Keen that needs to line up.
And they get why. Hand of God was committed, but I haven't even seen him use that in a team fight, so I don't think he minds. Things are coming out. Trying to take an outpost. I mean, it's fair to try because they've been lacking so much XP, but you surely would have known it would have forced those rotations in from EHOME.
It's the same situation as the last game. You saw EHOME kind of take control of the bounties of the outposts, and Keen just not finding any of those bonus objectives does mean that the wide gap widens. It's 23k lead for EHOME, 22 to 13. They still need a lot more to fly out in their heroes and all.
He just, YDS is there with his teammates and they just can't do anything.
Oh.
The only person that could have stopped him is Jiafu, but he's dead.
It's not playing in together, Keen. They've got to group up. They can't split up anymore. They need to kind of just play together, play around the objectives. Maybe if you wanted to dip out and go for a smoke, you can still kind of make that work. Like, you jump the AM. He doesn't really have defensive items. He only really has his counterspell to rely on. So if you catch Sylar out, you can easily burst him down. He doesn't have any way of preventing himself from running away. It's just that your control is limited to the roar and the gaze. every single time they've tried, the damage has been lacking. So even then, it's such a hard bet to try to go for Sylar, and all of EHOME just sticks as 4,
Well, now
which is what Keen should be doing.
Everyone's getting hard to take out John. Nothing to say. He's got a 10-second BKB up. Faith Beyond has an Abyssal on the way. He's boarded it right now. Courier goes down for Fantasy, just trying to scout out the Roshan. You have a Beastmaster Hawk. I'm not sure if the Courier was necessary, but that's fine. They just send it in. The Roshan does spawn up, and both teams do see it. Of course, King Gaming really can't afford to let it go down, but I don't really know if they have a chance of winning this fight. You do have an egg, which does work very well in the Roshan pit. But that's assuming those two survive, and right now, EHOME's not even going for the Roshan, they're going for the play. After Fantasy, there's your Chain Frost gone, and now your Egg. Also going whitey as he does die. Erica's completely surrounded. The Abyssal from Faith Beyond just keeps him stunned up. Blood now was thinking about trying to turn. He's got no chance. Adrian connects. Rolling Thunder. The BKB does come out, but it is probably going to be a wasted charge. A Roar is there on Faith Beyond, but it means nothing. The BG's been called.
Whew.
And that's the EHOME we're more used to seeing.
Oh yeah. The Keen, unfortunately, lose out once more. And EHOME still continue undefeated. You know, they've dropped a couple of games, but they have not lost the series. They maintain that here. It was a spectacular game too. They bought all the space in the world for Sylar. Wise Chen